Yo, what is popping, guys? After week 5 yesterday, we are back with week 6 for the PMC. Double uploads this weekend because obviously week 5 was postponed by a week because of uploading scheduling, not uploading, scheduling problems. And now we're here versus the Las Vegas Absols and the coach LevineMa. I don't know how to pronounce that. He actually took over the team that is called Las Vegas Absols, but I didn't. I just don't know what his team name is, so it just like today he's just going as the Las Vegas Absols, so that won't prevent him from being anything more of a threat or less of a threat. He actually has a very threatening squad, a very speedy team that is super annoying to deal with my squad. I struggled a lot prepping for the team, but I felt like I brought a pretty cool team. Looking at the squad, he brings Terrakion, which I know is gonna be choice Scarf or Rock Polish. Probably Scarf just to always um, revenge kill the Lopunny. Quiver Dance Volcarona, which I knew he would bring because it's not even really checked by unaware Pyukumuku. Here's the Tornadus Therian, which if it's a Life Orb variant is like it's such a threat to my team. I like have no switch into to that thing whatsoever. Especially if he rocks the HP Ice or the Icy Wind for my Gligar. Um, Serena here, which is a rapid spinner, which makes sense. Even though I felt like he should have brought Flygon probably to default because I have a spin blocker in the Mimikyu, so um, and it's like just doesn't do much versus my squad, to be honest. But it definitely can get the job done as a last resort rapid spinner or something like that. He has the Gramble, which I felt he was bringing either defensive Volcarona to check my Lopunny or defensive Gramble. I think Gramble makes more sense because Volcarona, obviously, as a setup sweeper, is more of a threat. Then here's the Mega Manectric, which obviously is going to be pretty nice because it can basically Volt Switch freely because my only immunity to Electric is 4 times weak to HPI, so I can't really switch into that thing. Looking at my squad, I brought a Fist Depth Tangrowth, obviously here to check the Terrakion. I brought nice SD Daunter with the Aqua Jet knockoff, Crabhammer, and the Splash Plate as the item. I didn't want to reveal Life Orb, so I wanted to have him keep him guessing if I'm banded or not, if it comes down to that. I bring especially defensive Gligar with Stealth Rock, Roost, Toxic, and Earthquake. Um, a nice return Hydra Kick, Encore, and Facade Lopunny just in case I get burned by Flame Body Volcarona. Nice AV Mew, physically offensive this time with Drain Punch, Rock Slide, Seed Bomb, and U-Turn. Actually, very nice check to stuff like the Manectric as well as a non a non-knockoff, what's called Tornadus. And it was a nice check to a bunch of other stuff on his team that he actually didn't bring. So that's kind of unfortunate. But definitely will put in quite some work. And I bring a very heat Garbodor set, Sugarberry, Toxic Spikes, Haze, Gunk Shot, and HPIs. HPIs was here obviously for to 2-hit KO. The Flygon, he was bringing that as his defogger, and Gunk Shot obviously 2-hit KOs every variant of Serena. I run nearly max speed to outspeed Jolly Serena 100% of the time, and the rest like in bulk and mixed offenses, which is nice. With the Shuckerberry, I actually take like less than 50% from a Scarf Flygon or Scarf Terrakion, which is super nice, so that will come in handy. The goal really is to get up T-Spikes with Garbodor as early as possible to whittle down his grounded threats and put him in range for a potential Daunter sweep. I felt like keeping T-Spikes up will or could potentially make the difference between me winning this game or not, and you will see that it actually kinda comes down to that. So let's go right into battle. I decide to lead off with my Mew, predicting him to lead off with the Mega Manectric. I want to get the slow U-turn off and see if he's modest or timid, just in case, like just to see if I guaranteed outspeed with my Lopunny or not. So I would just go for the slow U-turn as he Volt switches. Doesn't do a lot to me um, with the Volt switch as he actually goes into Torn, and that is kind of unfortunate because Mew actually is my best, like is the mon I wanted to pivot into Torn. So I can't really do too much. Here I go into my Gligar because I don't even know why I went to the Gligar. It wasn't the best play. I should have gone like into Lopunny and threatened this thing, but I didn't want to risk Lopunny because Lopunny is a huge win condition versus team once I weaken the Gramble, to be honest. So now I'm in a kind of like a little bit of predicament because I can't really touch this thing, and I don't want to lose my lose my Eviolite. But I felt like he was definitely going to be a Life Ops, and I don't think like Life Ops should run knockoff over Icy Wind versus my squad because otherwise it kind of gets walled by AV or like just specially defensive Dradigon or even potentially the Pyukumuku. So I decided to stay in just Fire for Toxic as he actually goes for the knockoff, which is kind of unfortunate because now HPIs um, from Mega Manectric will knock me out after that knockoff damage, which is kind of unfortunate, but I have to play around that. And now that he revealed knockoff, I definitely want to scout for the Icy Wind. So I go into my Mew, which was kind of misplay, as he actually goes for the U-turn. That means he doesn't have the HPIs, but that also means my Mew is pretty much weakened, which is pretty bad. But he goes into Volcarona now, probably thinking that I'm a defensive variant because I like showed a slow U-turn turn 1, but I actually am max speed Jolly, so I just go for the Rock Slide, predicting him to either be slower or to go for the setup here. And he actually does. So Rock Slide, like I don't know what he did, but I actually outspeed. Either I win the speed tie or I just outsped all the time. And kill the Volcarona. So he brings in his Tornadus and he makes a very interesting play. As I decide to switch out into my Tangrowth on the potential like incoming U-turn or knockoff. Don't really need my Rocky Helmet, then like I want to use Tangrowth as a pivot into either Mew or Gligar again. But he actually decides to switch out hard into Mega Manectric, which I don't really understand because like he just had a free U-turn unless he thought I was Scarf, which like didn't really make sense because I didn't outspeed Mega Manectric turn 1, but maybe he didn't notice or something. Then like that was never the play in my opinion. But good for me, I don't get chip damage off on my tank. But he goes into his Manectric now, and I know that Flamethrower can't kill unless he's modest, but I know that it will do like over 80%. So I go into Gligar, my specially defensive Gligar, after going for the Protect here, to like see if he actually has it. Now I go into Gligar on a potential Volt Switch, thinking he might want to keep up momentum. And now I make another misplay. I kinda didn't want to let Lopunny get weakened, but I should have gone into a Lopunny on the HPIs and just click return versus thing, or high jump kick just to put it in range for other attacks like the Aqua Jet from Daunter, but I actually decided to stay in and try to get up my rocks because rocks obviously are kind of crucial versus the Tornado speed. But Gligar drops, but that's fine. I can just go into my Lopunny now and threaten something with the return. I mean, he actually makes a smart play and goes hard into Gramble instead of taking damage and getting Volt Switch damage off, because Gramble is still at full health and can just like freely take the hit and then like do whatever Gramble does. I will go hard into my Garbodor here on the Tangrowth, not messing around with the threat. As he actually reads to be the heal belt, so my Gligar basically was absolutely wasted. I didn't get any damage off on the Tornadus Therian, which sucks. But now I'm definitely gonna go for my T-Spikes as he decides to go out into his Terrakion. T-Spikes are up that will pressure Serena, and I can potentially keep them up all the time with my Garbodor if I play correctly. The way he brought in his Terrakion made me feel he was a setup variant, and I decided to stay in and go for the haste just in case he is a setup variant, and then pivot out into my Tangrowth on an incoming attack. He goes for the Earthquake though, right from the get-go. I have my Sugar Berry, so that doesn't matter as I go for the haste. I felt like covered like it covered every option. Like even if he stays in Earthquakes, I live at a reasonable amount of health, so I felt like it didn't really matter if he gets damage off. So and that prevents him from SDing up, which is nice. So now I'm going into Tangrowth here, as my opponent goes for another Earthquake, and obviously Tangrowth gives Serena a free switch, and I'm actually Giga Drain Rock Slide Tangrowth without Sludge Bomb or anything. So if Serena is rapid spinning on anything on my squad, it is gonna be the Tangrowth, and I don't want that to happen. So I decide to double out into my Garbodor on this thing and like just prevent it from spinning if possible. See, now we'll go for the rapid spinners. I just will fire off a gunk shot, obviously. I hit, which is super nice, and do a lot of damage, which actually is the perfect amount of damage because I can, well, it's close to the perfect amount of damage because like, if it was at like 26%, it could have like, I could have gotten Toxic Spike up and then kill with the HPIs instead of like having him potentially spin himself to death in order to like definitely keep keep the Toxic Spikes off the ground. But I will go for the T Spikes now until as he decides to go for the drop kick. I don't really agree with that play because obviously drop kick won't knock me out, and now I'm guaranteed to keep up my T Spikes, which definitely will help wearing down the Tangrowth as well as the Manectric and the Terrakion, which is super nice. Basically paving the way for a potential Crawdon sweep here late game. Now I have my T-Spikes up. Garbodor obviously is useless now, kinda, but the plan worked, and my T-Spikes are here to stay, which is super nice. As long as I play around Tornadus correctly, I feel like I have a solid chance of winning this game. He comes in with the Torn, and he just fires off a Heat Wave, which is nice. I go into Mew now. I completely forgot during the battle that he outsped with Mega Manectric earlier, or that he probably has to know that my Mew isn't Scarf. I tried to bluff the Scarf here and just click Rock Slide here. I don't even know why I bluffed the Scarf, but as you see, it actually worked out as he switches out the Tornadus and goes into his Manectric, which is pretty funny. I don't even know what I was thinking there. I like kind of blanked on this during the game, but it's whatever. Now I will just go for the slow U-turn again as he actually decides to Thunderbolt, but I have got some nice chip damage off on the Manectric. Unfortunately, I can't really set up on anything with my Daunter because I'm not Focus Sash, but I can like still potentially just sweep with the Aqua Jet in the late game. Because I'm Splash Pad, I'm guaranteed to OHKO Terrakion after one T-Spikes unless he's really heavily invested, or a Pecho variant, and Manectric is already in range for that thing, and I now just have to weaken Granbull so that I can potentially like pivot around on Tornadus. I have enough Sacs left, and then like make it so that I either have Crawdon and Lopunny left versus last Mon Tornadus Therian. That's, as of right now, that's the goal for the end game. I need Lopunny and Crawdon to be alive versus only Mon Tornadus, or Crawdon in when it's Crawdon Mew versus a Terrakion in and the Tornadus in the back. That's the only way that's the way I'm trying to win the late game. So here I just fire off another return. As he makes a smart play. Oh no, he doesn't make the smart play, excuse me. He actually decides to stay in with the Mega Manectric, and this, in my opinion, is a very big miss by his party. He should have just gone into Granbull. It's his designated counter, and he would have gotten quite some chip here with the Rocky Helmet damage, and then he was like free to Toxic potential my Tangrowth on the switch in, or double out or anything like that. But he decides to sack his Manectric, which is really huge for me. Now like I have to worry about one threat less, so that's nice. Now he goes into Granbull, and in my opinion, like he should have just gone into Granbull before that, but what can you do? We all make misplays sometimes. He actually acknowledged that in the chat when we play. Granbull, on the other hand, gives me a free switch into my Tangrowth, expecting him to actually decide to either double out into Torn, which I felt was kind of aggressive and wasn't really the play, or like staying in and go for a play rough. I get some nice chip damage off with the Rocky Helmet, and it's going to be in range of in range of the Aqua Jet soon, so that is nice. I will just go for a Leech Seed here to get some ship damage off on that and recover up. I didn't know if like Giga Drain would have killed. I assumed not, but maybe with the toxic damage after that. But I didn't really want him to give him a free switch into Tornadus Therion on my Tangrowth, because I still want Tangrowth in the back to guarantee like check any form of Terrakion. So that's why I also went for Leech Seed here. Also, again, I don't want him to just go down to my in front of my Tangrowth so that he like gets tornadoes in. So I actually decide to switch out into my Mew. Should he switch out into one of his other mons, I can just sack Mew or like try to bluff the Scarf again, which would be kind of funny. In which case he would have to sack the Grand Ball on the next turn, and if he just stays in, he will go down to Leech Seed plus to the Toxic, and then I can like he won't go down to Toxic, but he will sorry about that. He will knock out my Mew, and then like I can bring a Lopunny and get a kill. So that works out for me as well. So I decide to go out into my Mew here. My boy Gypsy King coming in clutch, sacrificing myself for the team as he actually decides to play rough, which works out fine with me. I can bring in my Lopunny again and get another kill potentially, unless he decides to switch into Terrakion on the return, which would have been a very aggressive but smart play. Now he goes to Terrakion. The way he brings it in, it screams at Scarf. I know that it wasn't a Jolly variant when he like got the EQ damage off on my Garbodor. It actually was an Adamant variant, so that's like kind of screams to me that he is Scarf. Not really caring about me being a Scarf variant of Mew or Mimikyu or Silvally, which makes sense because they aren't the most common Scarfers, I'd say. So I reckon it's Adamant Scarf by the way he by the kind of damage he did. And now we kind of have a 50-50 here. If he stays in close combat and kills my Lopunny, I basically lose because then the Tornadus cleans up should he like hit a Hurricane on my Crawdon, which isn't the craziest thing to do. If he doubles out into Torn on my Tangrowth switch, it will come down to another 50-50, because then I will bring in Lopunny and either have to click Return or High Jump Kick. I probably would click the High Jump Kick because it would cover him switching out into his Scarf Terrakion, but it definitely like at one point I have to win a 50-50, and I try to like postpone this 50-50 by switching out to my Tangrowth now, as he thankfully for me decides to go for the close combat. And like the reason why I did switch out here was because I felt like he was more likely to stay into close combat because he hasn't revealed to be Scarf yet during this game. All I knew was he was Adamant when he clicked Earthquake versus my Garbodor twice, and he didn't reveal to be any variant of an item. He could have been Jolly with like a boosting item like Muscle Band when he went for the Earthquake or something. So yeah, like there was no way I knew for a fact that he was Scarf, and he might have tried to like catch me off guard here. So Tangrowth comes in, and now I can just go for the Rock Slide, knowing that he has to bring in his Tornadus here, because I can potentially like just go for the Giga Drain. I predicted correctly and get off the Rock Slide here, which is super nice. And now what I'm gonna do here, I still could potentially lose to the combination of Tornadus and Terrakion if I play my cards badly, I felt. I never planned on losing to Scarf Terrak at the end game, so I decided to actually switch into my Crawdon, knowing that he has the Heat Wave, and Heat Wave from this range guarantees the knockout on Tangrowth, and if he risks the Hurricane misses, I'm guaranteed to win the game, regardless of if I stay in with the Tangrowth or if I go into Crawdon. But I felt like there was no way he was going for Hurricane there. So I decided to go into my Crawdon, as he actually makes a nice middle ground play, I would say, and goes out into goes for the U-turn here. I don't think like that was the play. He should have, in my opinion, just going for the Heat Wave to knock out potentially Tangrowth and then switch out into Terrac on the return and forcing me to win a 50-50 or not with my Lopunny, but the U-turn here can't knock out my Crawdaunt, and now Terrakion comes in. It's weakened to a point where Aqua Jet kills it, and I will take out the Terrakion, and now I'm guaranteed to win the game because Aqua Jet into return is guaranteed to kill the Tornadus. He goes for the Hurricane now here instead of going for the U-turn. I don't know why, but it only would have changed differentially. I had to game one once I got the 50-50 right with Lopunny when I versus the Terrakion, and that is gonna be GG. It's Aki once again. Very, very good game to my opponent. I felt like he made some smart plays. Very solid prep with the Tornadus that really pressured my defensive core as well as like my offensive threat. Very good bring on his part, but the T-Spikes here in the late game really helped me wearing down Granbull, wearing down the Nectric, and putting Terrakion in range for the Aqua Jet. Should have been a more bulky variant of that thing. So again, another 3-0 win here. Very close game in my opinion. I felt like I played the mid to late game really, really well, keeping my T-Spikes up, and yeah, now I'm 4-2 in this league after an 0-2 start. I feel like I'm playing really, really well these last 4 weeks. I don't feel like there was any game where I was close to losing at all in this last 4 weeks. I pretty much felt like I outplayed everyone really well. Besides, obviously, my boy LevineMa here, he played really well, pressured me a lot with a nice team matchup in his like Volturn core. But I felt like I played around that fairly well as well. So yeah, that's it for week 6 of the PMC. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and comment if you did, and catch you in the next week, I guess. So see ya.